One guy, I'll call him Bob, joined the tile warehouse just a few months before I did. Bob was 19 with a pregnant girlfriend. The manager kindly offered the girlfriend a clerical position answering phones. Both of them were terrible workers. The girlfriend missed about every third day of work and never gave advance notice, though warned to change her habits repeatedly. The girlfriend lasted no more than a few months. Bob missed work about once a week and he was chronically late. On top of that, he often took 3 or 4 daily bathroom breaks, each over half an hour. It became so bad that, by the end of my tenure, another employee and I made a game of it. We'd set a timer when he went to the bathroom and shout the major milestones through the warehouse: 35 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour. Eventually, Bob too was fired. When it happened, he lashed out at his manager. "How would you do this to me? Don't you know I've got a pregnant girlfriend?" And he was not alone. At least 2 other people, including Bob's cousin, lost their jobs or quit during my short time at the tile warehouse. You can't ignore stories like this when you talk about equal opportunity. While winning economies worried about the decline of the industrial Midwest and the hollowing out of the economic core of working whites. What that means is that manufacturing jobs have gone overseas and middle-class jobs are harder to come by for people without college degrees. Fair enough, I worry about those things too. But this job is about something else. What goes on in the lives of real people when the industrial economy goes south is about reacting to bad circumstances in the worst way possible. It's about a culture that increasingly encourages social decay instead of counteracting it. The problem that I saw at the tile warehouse run far deeper than microeconomic trends and policy. Too many young men immune to hard work. Good jobs impossible to fill for any length of time, and a young man with every reason to work, a wife to be to support, and a baby on the way, careless, tossing aside a good job with excellent health insurance. It's worth noting that although I focus on the group of people I know, working class whites with ties of Appalachia, I'm not arguing that we deserve more sympathy than other folks. This is not a story about why white people have more to complain about than black people or any other group. That said, I do hope that readers of this book will be able to take from it an appreciation of how class and family affect the poor without filtering their views through a racial prism. Too many analysts, terms like welfare queen, conjure unfair images of the lazy black mom living on the dole. Readers of this book will realize quickly that there is little relationship between that specter and my arguments. I have known many welfare queens. Some were my neighbors, and all were white. This book is not an academic study. In the past few years, William Jennings Wilson, Charles Murray, Moritz Mullen, and Ray J. Chetty have authored compelling, well-researched tracts demonstrating that upward mobility fell off in the 1970s and never really recovered, that some regions have fared much worse than others, Shocker, Appalachia, and the Rust Belt score poorly, and that many of the phenomena I saw in my own life exist across society. I may quibble with some of their conclusions, but they have demonstrated convincingly that America has a problem. Though I will use data, and I do sometimes rely on academic studies to make a point. My primary aim is not to convince you of a documented problem. My primary aim is to tell a true story about what that problem feels like when you were born with it hanging around your leg. And not tell the story without appealing to the cast of characters who made up my life. So this book is not just a personal memorial, but a family one, a history of opportunity and upward mobility viewed through the eyes of a group of hippies from Appalachia. 2 generations ago, my grandparents were dirt poor and in love. They got married and moved north in the hope of escaping the dreadful poverty around them. Their grandchild, me, graduated from one of the finest educational institutions in the world. That is the short version. The long version exists in the pages that follow. Though I sometimes change the names of people to protect their privacy, this story is, to the best of my recollection, a fully accurate portrait of the world I have witnessed. There are no composite characters and no narrative shortcuts. Where possible, I corroborated the details with documentation, report cards, handwriting letters, notes on photographs, but I am sure this story is as fallible as any human memory. Indeed, when I asked my sister to read an earlier draft, the draft ignited a 30-minute conversation about whether I had misplaced an event chronologically. I left my version in, not because I suspect my sister's memory is faulty. In fact, I imagine hers is better than mine, but because I think there is something to learn in how I've organized the events in my own mind. Nor am I an unbiased observer. Nearly every person you will read about is deeply flawed. Some have tried to murder other people, and a few were successful. Some have abused their children physically or emotionally. Many abused and still abuse drugs. But I love these people, even those to whom I avoid speaking for my own sanity. And if I leave you with the impression that there are bad people in my life, then I am sorry, both to you and to the people so portrayed. For there are no villains in the story. There is just a ragtag band of hillbillies struggling to find their way, both for their sake and, by the grace of God, for mine.